Come crawling faster. Obey your master. Your life burns faster. Obey your master. 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 Master of puppets of pulling the strings. Twisting your mind and smashing your dreams.
What took you so long, Chris? What's going on over there, dude? You drowning in fillets?
No, I was looking at Skype and I didn't see that you were online. It just still showed yellow in 4 days.
I've been online.
Ooh,
I've been online.
So it's your fault.
I've been online.
I didn't say it. It didn't show online. I guess maybe it didn't refresh or whatever.
I think you're playing mind
Oh,
games.
you piece of shit.
I think because a certain lady friend's playing mind games with you, you gotta start playing them on the podcast, dude. That's what I think.
Oh man, Chris.
I didn't see that he was online. That's all.
Okay, got it.
I was wondering. I was like, what's taking? But he said he just turned on his computer. I was thinking that. I was like,
I gave you the thumbs up and everything. Let me know when you're ready. I'm like, here you go, thumbs up, dude. Kiss my ass.
didn't even see that. Okay.
The guy that monitors everybody.
Yeah,
The guy that
exactly.
monitors everybody.
Well, Skype on a PC is a different app. Anyway, so how we all doing today?
I'm doing fabulous, dude. I'm doing pretty good.
It's good.
How are you doing, Chris?
Doing good. See, when I click on yours, it still shows last seen 4 days ago. And normally,
Just call my profile the Nancy, dude. Just call my profile the Nancy, dude.
no, but normally when we do this, like right as you're getting on, it turns green, and I see, oh, okay, time to call. But I don't know.
So
I don't like this. Yeah, go ahead.
No, so, welcome back, everyone, to Master of the Universe Horror Podcast. And to start off some of these creepy tales, we're going to have Mark ask Chris some creepy questions, get him started for the, for the week. Because, every week we like to bullshit a little bit for a good 15 minutes before we dive on into the movie. And, Chris, he's over like a son of a bitch. And, Mark makes him even more over because he makes him tell the truth, or tries to at least. So, Mark, I heard you had a few questions for the fans to listen to, dude.
For Chris, you mean?
Yeah, but for the fans to listen to, yeah.
Oh, I never have questions for Chris. I mean, I know I never do, but this time I do. I know it's unusual. So, are you ready for some of these questions, Chris? Or?
Let's go with round one. Let's hear it, dude. Go ahead, round one.
Go fuck yourself, Mark. But okay, go on.
What? I can't ask you a question?
No, it's just you.
You know what's funny? Though? I'm gonna stop you right there, CJ. Because Mark was saying earlier, like he goes, "How come I can't ask you something without you jumping at me like that?" And then sure enough, dude, he's like,
because it's his game. Because it's just his game he's playing.
So asking you a question is a game.
No, it's the way you do it. It's like if you have a question, just ask. It's like, but you have to build it up and. Hey, I got a few questions. Just say what you got to say. If I have a question, I'll just ask you straight up. Like, hey, Mark, what's your net worth? $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, what?
It's more than that, but we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is...
Well, it's not a one-way street, pal. I get to ask questions too, so kiss my ass.
I've never told you not to ask. When have I told you, Chris, I don't want to answer any of your questions? When? I've never told you that ever.
Okay, so just go ahead and ask.
Well, I am, but... Aren't you the one that complains about, wrestling doesn't have any more build-up, it's right away, they don't stick with anything?
And entertainment, watching an entertainment show and, just human interaction are two very different things. So, if you're going to ask me something, just fucking ask it.
Hey, so what you're telling me is that, so Halloween starts, Michael Myers escapes, you want Dr. Loomis just to push him off the thing, end the story, right? You don't want to build up, right? You don't want a good story, right?
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm gonna get it over later on the podcast about Dr. Loomis, dude. But go ahead.
Yeah, Donald Pleasence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Loomis. Anyway, so you know what, Joe? Let me ask you a question, dude. Let me ask you a question.
All right.
Somebody's in a bad mood, dude. I don't know
No,
why.
so you need to just ask
It's
the
a
fucking questions
question.
and get over with it. Be
Hey,
done.
Joe,
with it.
can I ask you a question, Joe?
Let's hear
Mark,
it, dude.
how many blowjobs you got this week?
It's been a few of them. I mean,
Only a
it's
few.
blowjob. I mean,
Only a few.
yes, yeah.
A few
I've been
dozen.
busy. I've been busy. Wait.
A few
I've been
dozen.
busy. I don't know who listens to the podcast, Chris, so I'm already nervous about that. I think somebody monitors them, by the way. But anyways,
I don't.
Oh, okay. All right, Chris. All right. So, I got a question for you, Joe, if it's okay. If you don't mind me asking you a question.
Sure, dude. Go ahead, get it over.
Oh, you're supposed to attack me and tell me that, I'm a piece of shit and that I'm playing games. You're supposed to tell me that.
Nah,
You can't just say, okay, go ahead.
wow, you're supposed to act like a complete maniac when someone asks you a question, dude. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Nah, dude. Nah,
Michael
dude.
Myers should be scared to ask you a question, dude.
What do you think about that, Chris?
No opinion.
Yeah, there's a shock. That's why he's in the predicament that he's in, dude.
Yeah,
Anyways.
you don't ask enough questions, right? No comments.
Yeah. So, Joe, I'm going to ask you a question, dude. So,
Okay.
let's just say, and I'm just throwing out figures, and I'm, it's not anybody in particular or anything in particular. I just had this on my mind.
All right.
Let's just say that you had a lady friend, you've been going out with her for a few years.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ask Joe a question now?
No, because
I
this is
can't
about
ask
me.
him a
Because this is about me.
Why is everything about you? I'm asking Joe a question. So,
And you're gonna start saying, barely hangs out with you, cancel plan, blah blah
No.
blah. Okay.
no,
All
I
right.
wasn't going to say
Everyone
that.
knows
It's
it's
not
fucking
about-
funny.
it's
Ha
not
ha
about
ha ha ha.
It's not about you. It's not about you. I'm asking Joe a question. Giving him a for instance. So, Joe, if you had a lady friend, you've been going out with her for a few years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say one of your friends was privy to some information that out of the sky, dude.
Yeah.
Basically,
So why didn't you
out of
just
the
tell it to me
sky.
yesterday? Why didn't you just tell it to me yesterday then? If you've got information, why didn't you just say it? When I have
Joe,
information,
your voice sounds different, Joe.
Let Mark. It's like you get so antsy about it. Like if you just let him talk, you would find out so much more, so much quicker if you just relaxed. But instead, you blow the fuck
no,
up.
because he drags it out.
You're you're cutting him off and you're blowing up. Let him just talk.
I know.
Let him just talk. Just talk. All right, Mark.
But
I'm sorry.
asking Joe a question.
Yeah.
I'm asking Joe a question. That had nothing to do with you, Chris.
But he has to
Just
just.
saying. What if your friend, you were seeing somebody and your friend just out of nowhere, just the skies opened up,
Mm-hmm.
champagne fell out, rain from the skies, and
Yeah.
this information just fell in your lap, and you're like, no, this can't be. There's no way it's a coincidence, dude. There's no way.
Uh-huh.
And you found out, or you heard that friend had his lady friend was either has a boyfriend or
Has had.
has had.
Why
a
didn't you
boyfriend
just
for
say
a
this
while.
yesterday on the chat? Why do you have to bring this on here? Why do you have to put my fucking person?
I'm talking to Joe. What are you doing? I'm talking to Joe. Why, Chris was talking about you. And can you let me finish too? So let's just say this happened, right?
Yeah.
You as a friend, right?
Yep.
Let's say you're in that person's position.
Mm-hmm.
Would you go ahead and tell him that? Or would you wait till it's 100% confirmed?
It's one of those things, dude, because you're dealing with a piece of shit, that no matter what you say or you try and help them out, they're just gonna either they're not gonna believe you or they're not gonna care, because they're gonna think you're it's just a work, and it depends. It depends on what kind of person that person is, dude. So that's number one. Like
or
if
they'll turn on you.
yeah, exactly. It's gonna be your fault, your fault.
Yep. So let's just say you were one of those people that are like blows up easily, real easily.
Yeah.
So would you tell the person?
I
Or
would.
wait till you have confirmation.
Well, see, the thing is that you want to have a confirmation, dude. But even if you had pictures, you know that certain people they'll just make excuses for them. You know, like, well, just because his dick's in her mouth doesn't, doesn't mean anything. Like with me, dude, I've had some problems and it's like, it's there, dude.
No,
you
not
just have,
you.
you just have to
Not
jump.
you, Joe.
Yep, you can't give them the benefit of the doubt when things,
No.
start smelling rotten, dude.
Oh, Joe, I don't believe you had any problem, because if you would, you're the kind of guy that would probably get on the live podcast and just, air out your grievances, dude. That's the way you come off to me, dude. So,
Yeah.
I don't think you've had any problems, dude.
Yeah.
Only Chris is the only one that has problems, dude. He's the only one, dude.
Mhm.
Not you.
I'm not saying in
No.
detail or anything like that, but yeah, I mean, we've all,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, yeah, if, because, I mean, I think I know the guy you're talking about, dude, and you and I both try to tell him a little bit, it's, hey, dude, if it looks like a fucking rat, dude, right, what that saying and shit, and all that bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of that, other people that we don't even talk to, or at least I don't, they bring up the situation. It's like you said, the champagne's falling out. Like, wow, go figure. On an important week and a half like this week and a half's been. So interesting, very interesting.
Well, so I'm just gonna come out and say it then, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Clay, dude. Ray Clay. I'm sorry to inform you, dude, but you got a chick, running around and behind your back, dude. Not 100% confirmed yet, Ray, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a chick running around behind your back, so that's the way it looks. Or at the very least, it was going on for a while. Let's just put it like that.
And I told Ray about it, dude, but Ray didn't want to listen. Like I told him, hey, Ray, I've been in a similar situation, not like that, but mine was a little bit more over, Daddy. But just mine was just a tad more over, dude. I had, like I said, that Warrior Hogan run, dude. That was me. But can you explain what happened with the whole Ray story there, dude? Someone's told you something about it, or what was going on with that?
Just having a conversation, and then that person came up, and they're like, "Is that person still talking to that lady?" And then, yep. And then, what does that lady look like? And then you're like, well, as a matter of fact, here it goes. And then they're like, no way, this can't, no way. And right away, they start looking to social media, find a few things. I'm like, whoa, dude, no way. I don't want to say nothing because I don't want somebody to come murder me. You know how violent Ray is, dude.
Oh yeah, he'll get a baseball bat, no question, right away. So. Someone told you, right? It wasn't something we've already had our ideas and shit.
Well, the thing is, it's not 100% confirmed, dude. That's the thing. It's not 100% confirmed. That's why I don't want to say anything, dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm asking you, what would you do? That's the whole thing, dude.
I would say, hey, dude, there's a possibility. We've kind of tried to tell you, and someone else is saying stuff, and we like you haven't even like, hey, what do you think about this with that? No, it's just something they brought up on their own, right? The informant.
Yep.
So.
Just out of the blue, dude.
Unreal, dude.
What can you do?
But
What can you do? But
the thing is if you don't go looking on your own, if you don't do some spying on your own, you're not gonna find out. You know what I mean? If you don't just show up after a certain time at night, dude, just out of nowhere. Hey.
Well, Joe knows that better than anybody. Dude.
Yeah, if you don't just, start looking at when pictures were taken and, all kinds of shit, dude. If you don't start, questioning and doing all these things, then they're just going to go out and pretend like there's nothing going on, dude. And who knows how long they've been doing this. So, I mean, that's just, I'm trying to help Ray out, dude. So, Ray, best of luck to you, pal.
How heartbroken do you think he'll really be about this, though?
Bill, that's the thing.
Probably
go ahead, dude.
He'll probably just get a couple of pizzas and drown himself in grape soda and some pizzas and Popeyes. Dude,
well, I mean,
say, fuck it, more for me.
And biscuits.
It's not like the guy doesn't have options. I mean, he's a pretty smooth operator.
That's true.
Yeah,
we've seen him in action. We've been with him, dude. He fucking talks to people pretty effortlessly.
Hey, baby girl, you like chicharrones? You know?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
hey, you laugh, but we've been there, dude. He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Well, coming from you, Chris, I mean, now I know for sure he's over like a son of a bitch, dude, with the ladies.
Yep.
All right, so Halloween released in 1978. It's directed by John Carpenter, and John Carpenter's over like a motherfucker. Do y'all know what movies that motherfucker directed or no?
Yeah.
Well,
Quite a
Escape
few.
from New York. Escape from New York.
yeah,
With Dr. Loomis as the president.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, dude, he is. Yeah, I forgot about that shit. He's in that one too. Well, of course, right before
Big
this,
Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble. That's like my favorite one by him, dude. The Thing. Y'all know
I
The
just
Thing.
saw that.
Now, he has a litany of fantastic movies that he's been involved with, but then he's also had some things that flopped. One of those things that flopped is especially kind of important to me because my dad kind of showed me this. So I remember being in 6th grade, and they had these commercials, second semester of 6th grade, Village of the Damned. And I thought it looked kind of interesting and intriguing. And my dad said, "Oh, that's an old movie. It's just a remake of an old movie." I was like, "Oh, it's a remake?" And he said, "Yeah." And he went one day after work, and he went to Blockbuster, Video Central, whatever the fuck, and found the old one and rented it. And I watched it over and over and over. Now that was an intriguing fucking movie, but that remake, I didn't even recognize it.
Yeah. No, he's made a ton of. I mean, they all can't be winners, right, kid? But he's made, Assault on Precinct 13, The Fog, Escape from New York, like you said, The Thing, Christine, Big Trouble in Little China, and then of course They Live. Dude, we talked about They Live before, and then after that, and he also did one that we're going to do eventually. It's In the Mouth of Madness that I like a lot. But after that, like you said, yeah, Village of the Damned, and then Escape from L.A., which is not as good as Escape from New York, but it's Escape from L.A. Dude, it's got Kurt Russell. And that's really it for films that, I mean, it's a lot of badass films, but he kind of stopped making badass movies after like '94. So, but badass director, he got this one going, because of the Psycho. Basically, Psycho was the one that started it all off with the slasher and slasher genre in the '60s, and then of course. With this one, it kind of got everything going. And after this came out, that's when you had, Nightmare on Elm Street come out, Friday the 13th, and all those fucking different kind of slasher movies. It was all started because of this, and it did really well. It was made on a budget of about $300,000, and it made about 60 to 70 million. And you were saying, what's the up and up on that, Chris? Would you say 120%, or would you say 200%?
I mean, it's in the 2000s of percentage. You think about it like this: if they spent $1 million, so in today's dollars, they spent roughly $1 million, which in today's dollars, the return, if you're going by the conservative estimate of the 60 million, that's 232 million today. So that's at like 23,000% return.
Yeah. So let's just say, dude, there's a couple of fucking free meals that weekend, dude. So.
Wow. Dr. Loomis is a free meals.
Yeah, he gets a couple of free meals, dude. He was only on set, like I said earlier, for 5 days. Jamie Lee Curtis plays Laurie Strode, and the cool thing about this is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom was in Psycho, and I forget her name. It's what's her name? Janet Leigh. So she's the one that gets killed in the beginning of Psycho, and Sam Loomis is the name of her mom's boyfriend in the film. So, like, all those Psycho references are in the film. There's, like, a ton of them. I'm not going to go over each and every one. But if you've seen Psycho, a lot of them kind of cross-reference each other on this one. So, it's pretty over. And, Chris, just give us a short breakdown of what Halloween's about for people that haven't seen this film. It's known like a motherfucker, but, there's some people that are like, Halloween, dude. I've only seen the fucking Rob Zombie remake, dude. They're pieces of shit, but go ahead.
So, this one here... This is like the not the forefather. Psycho is the forefather, but this is definitely a grandfather, if nothing else. This predates Nightmare on Elm Street 1. It predates Friday the 13th one. This is October 25th, 1978 release date. This is a film about the middle of America. It's a middle-class white town. It's in a Midwestern state, and it's in the middle of a Midwestern state, in the middle of two Midwestern cities, Peoria, Illinois, and Chicago, Illinois. Okay, that's where it takes place. You don't get any more middle than this. So, 6-year-old boy. The kid's name is Michael Myers. Now, the 6-year-old is portrayed by Will Sandon. So he's at home night before Halloween, and of course they got their Halloween decorations up and the jack-o'-lantern. His sister's babysitting them. She has the boyfriend come over, and they make out, then run upstairs, do other stuff. Boyfriend leaves, so the kid says, okay, now no one can protect her. Goes in the kitchen, and he's wearing a fucking clown costume, which you'll find out in a minute. Grabs the fucking biggest butcher knife he can, goes into his sister's room, who just has no peripheral vision abilities, apparently. Doesn't see him walk in, and has no ability to defend. A 15, 16, 17-year-old girl can't defend herself from her 6-year-old little brother. And he just stabs her and kills her, apparently. Well, he runs downstairs, and by the way, that was the narrowest fucking staircase I've ever seen on a house. Runs downstairs, goes outside the front door, coincidentally as his parents are pulling up from whatever date night or whatever. And he's got the clown mask on, the clown outfit on. Michael, is that you? And of course they take off the outfit. He's got the bloody knife. And well, I guess that lands him in. I don't think they'll throw a kid that age, even in '63, in a real prison. So I guess they send him to the state hospital, psych ward. He's being treated by Dr. Samuel Loomis, who was portrayed by Donald Pleasence. Well, now here we are in 1978, a couple days before Halloween '78, and they're driving there in the rain at night to go pick him up and transfer him to another facility because he's turning 21 or whatever the fuck. And Samuel Loomis is making it in no uncertain terms. He's crazy. He's pure evil. He doesn't belong in society. I hope he never gets out. Yeah. Well, they get there. He fucking apparently has... It gets down to nut cutting time, and he apparently has beaten up all the fucking guards, and they can't... I guess they don't have tasers and guns and billy clubs or whatever. And he gets through them, and so sneak attacks them from behind on the car, jumps up on the fucking roof, breaks in, throws them both out, gets in the car, has never driven one day in his life probably, and yet he drives off. Back to the town where he's from, Haddonfield, Illinois. Well, Samuel Loomis, Howard, gets home somehow, and right away he has to notify the police officers, the police forces of that city, hey, you got a killer on the loose. He's coming back to this town. He's probably going to be staying in the house he grew up in where he killed his older sister 15 years ago. And havoc is about to rain down. So we got to do something, and I need y'all to help me. So here's this fucking 21-year-old psycho who, for some reason, just has this nervous tick that makes him want to kill babysitters. And it all goes from there. And people keep having visions of him, like the little boy, what's his name, Tommy Doyle? Yeah. He has visions of him, and then he disappears in thin air somehow. Then, what's his name, Laurie Strode, portrayed by a very young, pretty good-looking Jamie Lee Curtis, and she has visions of him in class, and he disappears, and, you know, it just kind of gets into your head, it gets under your skin, you start looking behind your shoulder everywhere you go.
Sounds like someone got a friend request. Go ahead.
Wouldn't it be easier, Chris, for you just to say, you know, young boy murders sister, and then escapes from mental hospital instead of going into all that detailing the whole movie? That's a short summary. That took 2 minutes to say, and just it gives a good idea. I mean, we'll get into the details later, scene by scene. That's a short summary? That's a short summary? You told everybody's name and what the fuck they were wearing.
I didn't say what everyone was wearing. I said what he was wearing because he killed his. He wore a clown. He's 6 years old. Where's the fuck?
Everybody was wearing.
He's 6 years old wearing a fucking clown outfit the night before Halloween. I guess he thinks the outfit's cool or whatever the fuck. But he wants to be the evil clown going around killing older sisters. I don't know. But...
I know a guy that's capable of killing older sisters. Fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
So can I say something about that jailbreak, or are we gonna go over that, or?
Oh yeah, we can get into the film, dude, definitely. So tell us. Okay, so it starts off, and Michael escapes from the mental hospital. Well, yeah, and he kills his sister first, and then he escapes from the mental hospital. But go ahead, dude. Go ahead and start off with those. I guess we'll talk about those first.
You know how Dr. Loomis says, hey, they tell him, how the hell did he learn how to drive a car or whatever? Yeah. I guess somebody taught him, right?
Yeah.
But you know what nobody mentions? Yeah. Nobody mentions is, what kind of gym do they have at that state hospital, dude? That motherfucker ran through all those people, jumped all that way, and was able to get in the car, dude, no problem, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know when you get in a 20-second battle with somebody, man, you're blown up.
Yeah.
That motherfucker must have been in that gym. They must have a badass trainer, is what I'm getting at, dude.
Non-stop
Badass
supersets,
trainer
dude, right?
that can do all that, dude.
Non-stop
Not only
supersets.
that, one of his favorite exercises to do apparently was box jumps, because did you see how he jumped from the ground? He did that Lesnar X-Pac.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that motherfucker did all that, dude, no problem, and then just got in the car, no big deal. Let me get home before Dairy Queen closes. Get a blizzard.
Oh my God! Exactly, dude. That's Chris's first night in jail, right? That's Chris's first night in jail.
Hey, nobody says anything about that. They're like, oh my God, how did he drive the car? Somebody's teaching him, or somebody's giving him lessons, but.
Maybe someone around here be giving him lessons.
And did y'all also notice? Did you notice how American Donald Pleasence sounds driving on the way over there, and how American he sounds in every other scene? But he sounds so British when that angry, I told you it wasn't safe. I told your people.
Yeah.
You know those lunatics that their fucking tone changes when they get out of control. You know what I'm talking about? Like they start breathing. I want to know where he lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Those type of people, when they change their voice.
Yep.
No, but his accent changed. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, he sounds, fairly American, or you can hear a hint of it, every few words. But he sounds American for the most part. But in that scene, he sounded super fucking Brit.
Yeah, well, he is Brit, so yeah. I mean, I guess it came out, dude. He got too worked up, dude. That's the thing.
You know what happens when you get too worked up, dude?
And I'm glad you mentioned earlier, Chris, the clown outfit. Like, he was supposed to wear, because they had two different masks, and I'm sure everyone knows now that he wears the William Shatner mask, and they just kind of gimmicked it up, and they colored the hair because it's like blonde, and they colored it brown or whatever, and they ended up making little changes to it, making it spray painted white. But they were going to go with the clown mask at first, because people thought, well, it's pretty good, it's disturbing, but they liked the whole no emotion with the Shatner mask, dude. Do you think this film would have been as over with the clown mask, or are you happy with the Shatner mask?
I mean, no, I know that's tough, because I mean, there's merit to both. Like, I mean, of course, the evil clown, with the clown scares everyone when you're a little kid and all that stuff, and then you go with the popular culture of evil clowns and that kind of thing. But then on the other hand, just the cold, stoic, expressionless mask that he wears, is very intimidating as well. What
if you wore like an ex-bandmate's mask, dude?
Oh man. Forget about it.
Complete terror.
Complete terror, yeah, dude. Oh my God.
Chaos.
And the intro, everyone talks about like the intro scene, because I think it looks like it's shot just in one shot. When he's walking into the house, or he's like outside and he's walking into the house, and he sees the boyfriend and girlfriend fooling around, and that guy gets himself over in like a minute or two flat, dude, because they go upstairs and he's out the door like right away, dude. Like, I'm like, what did they, were they supposed to just have sex? Because Michael's outside and he walks up in there, dude, and he's already taken off by the time, it's like, do you see how fast that was?
I know. That was not even 2 minutes that they were up there. I mean, unless they're time lapsing without telling us. But I mean, it's like, why would? That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, they didn't just run up there, throw off their jeans real quick, squirt, and then go put their jeans back on and run downstairs. I mean, come on. It's time. The movie time lapsed it without telling us. That's what happened.
Listen to Chris, Mr. Stamina over there, dude. I'm sure you're fucking a stallion, Chris. You can go all night.
I didn't say that, but what I'm saying is, I mean, they literally went up the narrow ass 2 feet wide staircase, and then went up there, and I mean, in under 2 minutes, did their thing, and then ran back down. Said, "I gotta go." Whatever the fuck he said he had to go. I mean, it's not like they had cell phones and he got a call from someone. I mean, what the fuck?
Probably had to babysit the niece, dude.
Yeah. You don't know that? How do you know you have to babysit a niece?
Who runs up there for 90 seconds, jizzes, and puts her pants on and goes back? Who does that?
Mark, tell him.
Obviously, Chris, you've never been with, something extraordinary, dude.
Yep.
That's for sure.
I mean, I remember 15 years ago, there was that one cop, and this was like Lyle and Hahn covered the story, and Fox 29 covered the story. This cop, SAPD, went to some chick's apartment, and like they measured from the tracking on the cop cars. The car was there 18 minutes, and he was on duty. And like they figured out that he banged that woman. And so they fired him because of that shit. And I'm just like, man, 18 minutes. So that means he drove onto the premises, parked, went into her unit, took off his, I guess, vest and other shit, banged, squirted, put his stuff back on, and left all in 18 minutes. And I thought that was fucking quick. I'm not talking about premature. I'm just saying who does it that quick and then just leaves.
Mark?
I guess you have experience with this?
I'm just telling you, Chris, that the shape that you're in, I'm surprised you'd even think that 18 minutes is even possible.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, it's like, what's even the point? I mean, 18 minutes? I mean, what's even the point at that point? And you got to take off all your fucking gear and your fucking vest and all that shit, and you put your job at risk for 18 minutes?
Chris, obviously you've never had one of those mid-afternoon delights, dude.
I guess I haven't.
When somebody has a 30-minute break. Somebody has a 30-minute break. 30-minute break. But you got all the time in the world, so you just tell them, "Hey, meet me here," or whatever, and then you got to get a quick squirt in.
Yep. Oh yeah. There's been plenty of times, dude. You know, you only got you just either you're pressed for time, or it's some magical,
Yeah, they're like hurry
up,
and you're just so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chris, 18 minutes. 18 minutes.
Tell you right there. I should tell you right there, dude. I should tell a person right there that they should monitor people. They think that they're, if something's going on, a little strange. You see how quickly something can happen, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All it takes is a few minutes. You don't take 16 hours, dude. You don't got to put in a shift in the Putang bank,
Yeah, dude. You get in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, where you're got. I'm not gonna go scene for scene with this film, basically, because it's not, because it's a lot of nothing for the most part towards the end, and the main stuff happens here, and the thing that gets it over, like, I don't think this is like a really great movie. Oh, I'm already shooting out my load on what I'm gonna rank it, but the thing that makes this movie good to me is Sam Loomis, dude, the doctor. Like, he's the only reason why this film is interesting, because like he's overselling Michael Myers to everyone. You know what I mean? And right? Am I right, dude?
I know somebody like that, dude.
Yeah.
I know somebody like that, dude.
Yeah.
Oversell a demon, dude. A supposed demon.
Yeah, like I love the quote when Loomis is talking. I think it may be to the sheriff. And they're like, because the sheriff, he goes to Haddonfield and he's telling the sheriff that, hey, I think that, he's going to come back here. He killed his sister, 15 years ago or whatever it was. And, he's telling him the story and he goes, I met him. And he says it like, wait, I'm going to say it fast because I'm not going to sit here and give you I'm not acting and shit. But he goes, I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left, no reason, no conscience, no understanding. In even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, or good and evil, right or wrong, I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that there was nothing living behind this boy's eyes. It was purely evil, and I'm like, man, this guy's fucking... You'd think this guy kicked him out of a band or something, you know what I mean? It's just like...
Yeah.
I don't think anything's mad about getting kicked out of a band.
Hey, dude, when you're selling someone that over, dude, there must have been some kind of band issue, that's for damn sure.
It wasn't about getting kicked out, but anyway.
Or kicked off shows.
Why does Chris think everything's about him?
Right? Exactly.
So anyway, no, I mean...
Him.
But that's why the mask fits him, though, because if it's instead of the clown mask at the adult stage, because he says pale, expressionless face, dark eyes, stuff like that. I mean, when you're looking at that mask, you can't see anything. I mean, it's just these 2 holes for eyes, and you don't see the eyes through it or anything. It's just black.
That's another thing that makes this film good, is that you know, he's just emotionless and like you can't see his eye holes or the eyeballs. And then the other Halloween films you can. I think that's where it kind of fucks it up. This one you don't know who it just looks like a maniac, dude. Like, you know, he's got a sandwich in the back of that truck that he's driving around, dude. That's for damn sure. So, Mark, what do you think about Loomis, dude? Is he over like a son of a bitch or what?
Oh, dude, that's you hit it right on the head. That motherfucker makes the movie, dude.
Yeah.
He makes the whole movie. He's fucking building up this big vicious monster.
Yeah.
This big vicious monster, and you know, everybody blows him off like, oh, he's just some escaped lunatic, dude. You know, no big deal, dude. You know, but I can relate to Loomis. It's like, hey, y'all don't know this fucking maniac, dude. He will turn on you,
yes,
and he will murder you at the drop of a hat. So be careful. And everybody's like, oh, come on, dude. Just some 22 or whatever the fuck he is. Just some lunatic. Just leave him alone, dude. Like, no. I know exactly what a person like that can do.
Yes.
One, because I used to work at a state hospital, and two, because
you've known him for 20 years.
Like that, dude.
You've known him for 20 years, yeah.
Dude.
Did you encounter at the state hospital? Did you encounter people that you like? Oh yeah, if this guy got out, he'd be just killing people left and right. Did you remember people like that?
Most of the people at the state hospital, or at least mine, or the time that I was there, were workers. There were just people that were playing the system, like, that just didn't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna burn my neighbor's house down when I get out. Just, you know, shit like that. I'm gonna kill my neighbor, and then I'm gonna eat him. You know, that kind of shit, just to get them. And they would tell me, I don't want to go to jail. And you could tell they're not crazy like that, you know.
Yeah.
You could tell they're not just gonna turn on you right away.
But there's some people you do know, right?
Yeah, that'll just turn on you at the drop of a hat, dude. Will just attack you right away, dude. Michael Myers and another guy I know. Dude, they kind of have similar hair. Dude. Where they style it, I mean.
Yeah. And the quote we were talking about earlier, it's Dr. Wynn. They go, you know, Sam, Haddonfield's 150 miles away from here, for God's sake. He can't even drive a car. And then he goes, he was doing very well last night. Maybe someone around here gave him lessons. Fucking, who the fuck's giving fucking lunatic car lessons how to drive a car, dude? Like, they can't get him to talk to Sam Loomis, but someone's giving him car lessons. All right, Michael. Shift it into gear.
I love that fucking thing, like the way. Well, apparently someone here is giving him lessons. You know, it sounds like the Duke, but he also, you know, that voice, Dr. Loomis. He sounds exactly like the voice on. And I know, Joe, I don't think you grew up watching G1 Transformers, but season 3 Skylinks, like, and that had a British accent. That robot, it sounds just like him.
Yeah, I never watched too much. I never watched Transformers, dude.
It was before your time, but yeah, if you had, and it's on Tubi for free, but you see that character sounds just like Loomis.
And we got the ladies in the film now. There's only 3. You know, there's of course Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie, and then there's Annie, and there's Linda. Who's Annie? The one, I think, the brunette or black hair.
Jamie Lee Curtis. What's her name again?
Laurie Strode.
Huh?
Laurie Strode.
No, Laurie?
Yeah, Laurie.
Oh, okay. God damn, I just got a chill down my spine, dude. Thinking of another lunatic. But anyways.
Yeah, so it's them 3, dude.
Another person that'll turn on you in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, just give you the chair shot there, right? Just out of nowhere, dude. You weren't even expected it. So we have those 3 chicks, and they're in fucking apparently in high school, right? But the only one that was, I think, underage or 17 or 18, I don't remember how old she was, or not in school, was Jamie Lee Curtis when she made this. I forgot the exact, because she was born in 58. So she was 20, or about 19 or 20. So she was the only one, I guess, under 21. And so we have Linda, who's like the whore, the blonde. You know, she's the hood rat. And then we have Laurie, and then we have Annie. So out of those 3 chicks, Chris, which one are you squirting?
You know, I'm gonna go with Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis, because I've always liked Jamie Lee Curtis anyway. Like, I mean, she always struck me as a cool chick, you know. And on top of that, I mean, she's kind of pretty, and she's intellectual. She's smart. You can have an intelligent conversation with her. You know, she's not out to lunch on anything that, you know, other than, you know, hair and makeup and, you know, keeping up the Kardashians. You know, my type of chick. I could dig that.
Yeah.
a shot at me. That's a shot at me right there. What he's saying, dude.
What is he saying?
You know that? You're like, oh, you know, you're gonna have a car. She's just not into makeup and the Kardashians, dude. That's a shot at me right there. Dude.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, dude.
I'm gonna tell somebody I know that'll turn on him just as quickly as he'll turn on somebody. That's all right.
I'm more of an Annie guy, dude. Annie's fucking. She's pretty hot, dude. She's pretty good. The short-haired, brown-haired chick. See, I'm a big Jamie Lee Curtis fan, dude. But it's like when she got older, she got more hot, dude. You know, she came out in that one film with is it Dan Aykroyd? Is it Dan Aykroyd or is it Yeah, I think it is Dan Aykroyd. You know the one I'm talking about, right, Chris?
Trading Places?
Trading Places, yes. Like in that film, or like in True Lies, of course, everyone knows however she was in True Lies, dude. So, like in those other films, yeah, she's a little bit more hotter. Here, she's like, you know, she's still growing into it, dude. She's still growing into her Jamie Lee Curtis gimmick. But, you know, Mark, if...
building into a savings.
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah.
She does look good in True Lies. I'm imaging it now, man.
That's pretty good. Damn, you're Chris over there. He can't last, 1 minute with his hand, dude. But he's gonna last 18 minutes with some lady friend. All right, dude. Got it.
Yeah.
So Mark, if you weren't in a rock solid relationship, dude, with your lady, and you had to pick between Laurie, Annie, and Linda, dude, who you taking down, dude?
Probably Linda.
Oh, yeah. He wants the wild thing, huh?
Duh.
Duh. He's not gonna bang.
My brother's not gonna come. My brother's not gonna come murder me in the middle of the night, dude. So I'll be able to get some. I mean, her brother's not gonna come murder me in the middle of the night. So I'll be able to get her as much as I want.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Not worry about it.
See, Chris really
your
fucked up.
Linda the cheerleader.
Is she a cheerleader?
Duh.
Yeah, remembers he's all. We have 3 cheers we have to learn by tomorrow. You know, and they're walking away from the fucking high school, and you hear in the background, "We're from Haddonfield, couldn't be prouder. Can't hear us now? Then we'll scream a little louder."
See, like with their like dialogue in the film, I kind of like completely zoned it out, dude. Unless it was Sam Loomis talking, I was just kind of like not interested because they're just like talking about anything totally, and I'm like, all right, dude, all right. I just kind of like it's no. Go ahead, dude.
I got a friend like that, dude. That because I interact with a couple of girls per day, whether it's through text, voicemail, or in person. And I'm listening to them, blah 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 blah. Man, don't you even take your clothes off? I wish you'd hurry up and get here already. But there's a person that I know, a guy that I know that I would just like push him out of the way. To pay attention to that one person because they're going to get more over. Just what you're talking about with Lomas there, dude. The same thing. You got the hot girls talking and all that, but you're more interested in Dr. Lomas's bad posture, dude, his bad hairline.
Yeah, dude. They get your attention, dude. Everyone else is second fiddle, dude. So throughout the whole film, Michael escapes. He beats up some mechanic and gets his clothes and the mask from a hardware store. All that bullshit. And then he sees Laurie dropping off a key that her dad's for the house that her dad's gonna sell, which is like the former Myers house. And that's when he starts following her, and that's when everyone starts seeing him. Now, did any of those scenes scare you, Chris? When she's like in school and she sees him across the street, and she's in her fucking room, and he's out there by the fucking clothesline and all that bullshit.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly the type of shit I always talk about. Like the stuff that scares me is the shit that can get in your head. Like I mean, like you look outside a window and you see that same that you thought you saw before, and he's in the Illinois state vehicle, or you can see the fucking car. You turn around, you think you see him, but then you didn't. You're walking back home from school and you see him by the bushes. You look again, he's gone, and then your friend plays mind. Oh, he's here. He wants to take you on a date.
Yeah, isn't one of the scenes like she gets a phone call and no one answers, and she's like, "Annie, is this you?" or whatever. And then she gets like another phone call, and it is them or whatever.
And it is Annie just fucking with her for a joke. Yeah, that and that kind of shit. When you already have that shit swirling around in your head pretty prominently, the littlest things will set you off. And this film is good with that. Like this is a film that like fucks with your head, like because you could put yourself in that same scenario. Like, man, I'd be feeling this way too, or I'd be nervous too, or whatever.
So, we really didn't talk about it at the beginning of the podcast like we usually do. So we're going to get into it now. But is this your first time checking out Halloween, Chris? Or what's your history like with Halloween now that we're almost done with the film?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, yeah, this is my very first time ever seeing it. Like I said, like I told you privately, when I was, middle school, I think high school, the Turner networks would show this like on a Friday night or whatever the fuck. And I remember hearing the song and seeing the little jack-o'-lantern at the beginning of the movie, which that already gives a creepy, disturbing feel at the beginning. So good job, John Carpenter, on that. He wrote that musical score, by the way.
Yeah. He's pretty good. He wrote. I think he wrote the song for the movie In the Mouth of Madness. So if you ever, want to jam out, check that one out. It kind of sounds like Metallica, dude. It gets over like a son of a bitch.
All right, I will check that out. Send it to me on chat. As far as seeing the movie, go. Okay, well, as far as seeing the fucking movie, I mean, yeah, it would come on and I'd see that, and then I'd change the channel because it's like, all right, I got to invest myself into some scary movie or whatever. And like I said, scary movie's never been my go-to. A lot of it was because, just not being allowed to see it when I was a kid. And then, like, by the time I was allowed, by, like, middle school, high school, whatever, I didn't even care. So it's like, fuck it and change the channel. But I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I saw this. You can get into this. I mean, this is 1978. And for a 1978 movie, this movie goes pretty quick.
Yeah. And, Mark, what's your history with old Halloween here, dude?
Like, I've seen this movie, I don't know, at least 10 times, dude, but it's just, I mean, I usually see it or I'll watch a majority of it during Halloween time, when everybody's running their fucking horror movies or whatever, dude. They're doing, like, the whole day of horror movies. And Halloween's on me. Mm-hmm. Let me watch Dr. Loomis's bald head, dude, do whatever he's going to do. So I'll take it there, dude, but... I've never been like completely blown away by it, dude, except Dr. Loomis. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody mentions that motherfucker, but he's the most over one.
Yeah, it's simple, dude. I grew up, like I said, I had all the VHSs. My dad was into horror movies, and I remember seeing the cover and like the pumpkin that's like turning into a knife and all that. And like as a kid, I kind of found it boring, as a kid, because it's like, well, because I was used to Freddy. I mean, like my first movies I saw was Freddy, and I'm like, I'm waiting for this guy to start working like a son of a bitch, and he just really doesn't do anything. And as a kid, I was, buying into it just because of Loomis, and I was still young, but now, getting older, I'm like, oh man, he makes this movie. If he wasn't in this film, it'd be a fuck. If you had anybody else playing him, it's just not gonna work. And it really shows, like in the remakes, they have like certain people recast. Like, of course, there's Poltergeist, where they don't have Tangia doing all that, hey child, all that bullshit. So, then they cast a normal person, and that person that was such a like odd figure in the movie is not odd or doesn't get it over. So she did that, and then also in Poltergeist, they have somebody. I mean, Poltergeist, the Halloween film. They have some other guy that's like, not believable. He's just someone that's like, oh, I'm his doctor, and I'm, this and that, and you're like, you're his doc. Okay, so you're the same character, but you're not, someone around here be getting them lessons, and the fucking all those little things that that make you believe that Michael Myers is a crazy son of a bitch, So, I was never a huge fan growing up, and I always freak out that people's like I hear a lot that people's favorite horror movie films are the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween because they were like in the 70s. So, of course, we'll get to those when we get to those as far as Texas, but and then after all that, after he's done stalking the streets, and it becomes nighttime because, of course, like Chris said, this is Halloween night, and Laurie's babysitting Mr. Little shit Tommy Doyle, and then Annie's babysitting Lindsay Wallace, who's across the street, and Michael's just outside following them. And one of the girls, I think it's Annie, she's gonna go pick up her boyfriend, and that's when Michael strangles her in the car, but she drops off Lindsay with Jamie Lee, and that's where the whole ending happens, and it's a big old clusterfuck, dude. It's the generic, or to me now, it's the generic ending where they're running around and everyone's scared, and but there's no one else in the streets hearing these people scream, but it's Halloween night, dude. Does that make any sense or what?
And it's the damsel in distress. I mean, that's the thing too. It's the damsel in distress running away, but I mean, like, She's running on flat green grass, and somehow she trips over something.
Yeah.
Okay, and then like she's in that I can't remember what room it is, the kitchen or the laundry room or whatever, and you know he had put the rake to block the doorknob so she can't get out.
When she's running out,
But it's somehow finally 2 seconds within his grasp that she should break the window and then move the rake to get out. It's like you couldn't have thought of that right as soon as he walks in the door, knowing this guy is like impervious to pain, knowing he's got a fucking book, knowing he's trying to kill you, and you already know he's killed people, and you just all of a sudden, right the split second before he gets you, you break the glass. It's just like and then you stay knocking at the door, and then you get back upstairs to where the kids are, and they're safe, and you know he's in the house, or you know he might still be in the house, and you're just standing. I mean, when you're in a situation where someone's pursuing you that you're not even scared to death of, but just nervous of what they could do to you if you're not looking, you're like going to be looking around all the time. But she just stays facing one direction on the top of the stairs.
Yeah. No, I know. It was, you know, because he starts picking off everyone, like he chokes out, I think it's Annie, and then Linda's with her boyfriend, and the dude goes downstairs and he gets stabbed through the wall with a knife, and he's like hanging, you know, in the air and all that, and then he puts the sheet over him with the glasses, and then kills her bitch ass while she's on the phone, or strangles her when she's on the phone, and then that's when Laurie Strode goes over and finds the bodies and all that other shit, you know, and I don't know if y'all remember it, but I saw it earlier when Linda's like in like a cupboard or something, and she's like all cross-eyed and shit.
Yes.
I'm like, what the fuck kind of bullshit is this? So that was a funny ass part. But then she's like has her back turned while Michael's on the floor, and or not even that, but she's upstairs and she's like freaking out, and then that's when you see like his mask come out, but it's like it's slowly like presents itself to where like you could barely see it, then it gets more, you know, prominent. I thought that was a pretty badass scene, or filmed really cool. And then that's when all that other bullshit happens where he's chasing her, and like I can't stand it because if someone's screaming, all this crap's going on, it's Halloween night, no one's gonna fucking hear you, or there's no one else out there in the street, you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I know if Mark starts screaming at his place, dude, someone's coming outside, like the old lady next door and shit. That's for sure.
And can I tell you what startled me, like this was like a genuine startle when this happened. Like my heart almost skipped a beat. Like when Paul starts like flips down and he's hanging upside down in the doorway. Mm-hmm. When she turns around and then Paul flips down, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that startled me.
I think that's Bob. I think that's Bob. It's his name's Bob. Because Paul's the other, right. Annie's boyfriend's Paul. I don't think we ever see him because she gets choked out, dude. She gets the mandible claw, and then of course we see the famous. You had talked about it the last time, that Undertaker, you know, sit up, dude. So, who's more over, Mark, or the Undertaker or Michael Myers' sit up, dude?
Oh, dude, it's Taker, dude, because he's been undefeated for 21 years. Everybody beats up Michael Myers, dude. So
yeah,
Michael Myers is a jobber when you think about it, dude.
Yeah, dude.
He always loses.
Yeah, he always.
So they build him up, and then when it's time for the blow-off match, he always loses, dude. So he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, there's not much that goes on like for the ending. Like, you know, we're trying to find things to talk about with the ending. It's just like, okay, Michael chases her here, does this there. It's like, okay, but the real highlight of the ending is fucking Sam Loomis shows up with that revolver, dude. I know someone with a revolver, you know. Also, he's pretty dangerous with it, and he puts some shots into Myers, and he falls off the balcony, and he empties the clip in him, dude, and I like everything else in the film, like the sheriff shows up and he's like, I shot him 6 times. I shot him, you know, whatever the fuck, how many times, and he's like, you know, and Michael's just gone, and then that's it. They start going, you know, the film ends. They just start going to all the like the areas of the film that he was at, like the stairwell, all just a couple of random scenes. But if it wasn't for Sam Loomis, dude, or Dr. Loomis, it's just like, would this film even be talked about? I don't think it would, dude. Chris.
No, it's a B. It's a B. Without him, it's a B slasher film into like a poorly done slasher film. But I mean, that gives and then you know, Officer Brackett, who by the way is a fucking pervert, looking at Laurie as she walks away.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You could never do that in a movie today. Have some 45, 50-year-old cop look at a 17, 18-year-old character like that. Yeah, I mean, that would just be, oh, he's a predator, he's this, he's that. You'd have every organization on him. But fucking A, that was 1978 anyway. So, one thing I think is a very, I mean, we're kind of dwelling on the end here, but if we go back midway through the movie, I thought it was an excellent scene, helped, reinforce the nature, the scariness of the character, is when he drives by and they think isn't that Devon Brown or whatever she said the guy's name is, and then it's obviously that Illinois State station wagon. Yeah. He drives by and then she has to yell hey, speed kills, creep,
Yeah.
And he stops.
Yeah.
And then it just stays there for 10 seconds and then goes on. I mean, that's the kind of thing when you talk shit to somebody that can whip your ass, but you think you get away with it, then they stop and turn around. And you're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, that reminds me of some Ray Clay shit, dude. When Ray would say something to people and he says it to the wrong person, because he thinks he's funny and cute and shit, and they fucking get all up in him, and he's like, oh, I didn't say anything, dude. Hey, have some Cholula with that burger, bro. He just fucking tries to, sweep it under the rug, that piece of shit. But
Ray doesn't do that, dude. He doesn't do that. I don't know why you're trying to impugn Ray, dude.
My friend Ray.
The funniest thing for those folks that don't know who Ray is, dude. I've known Ray for about 10 years or so, something like that, and he's always done funny ass shit. And he he doesn't even try it. I mean, well, yeah, he tries sometimes, but one of the funniest things is we try to get Ray on the podcast, and I knew it wasn't gonna work with Ray to do the horror movie podcast when I told him, hey, dude, we're gonna watch the movie The Changeling. It's a horror movie. You can find it on YouTube. Just check it out. And he's like, oh, yeah, dude. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And then the next time I talk to him, I'm like, hey, did you see The Changeling? Oh, dude, I've seen that plenty of times, dude. It's what do you say? It's like a cinematic classic and this and that and Angelina Jolie. And I'm like, Ray, what fucking Changeling did you watch? And he's like, the one with Angelina Jolie, dude. Why? And I'm like, not that motherfucking movie, dude. The horror movie. Like I told you, it's on YouTube. The Changeling. George C. Scott in the wheelchair. And he's like, oh no, I haven't seen that one, dude. And I'm like, oh god, never mind. I'm gonna have to walk step by step with Ray to keep him, fucking focused on a podcast and with watching the right fucking movie. So that's Ray Clay for you. But when we come back here, we're gonna go ahead and rate this motherfucker. All right, Mark. No, you know what? I always like to have Chris, dude, because Chris is the one that, like I said, he'll start copying people if he goes last. So, Chris, what was your overall thoughts on this film? Who's your favorite character, your least favorite character, and your rating, dude?
I like the movie. I'm very positive on this movie. If you want to know my overall rating, I'm gonna give it probably. I'm going to say this because I know that there's, and then I'm lucky to have the knowledge that there's sequels to this. So I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8.5. I really enjoyed it. I had no trouble watching it. I rewound it to make sure I didn't catch it. But honestly, I didn't need to in hindsight because the movie tells itself pretty well. It's an easy story to follow. It doesn't really bore you at any points. I'm just intrigued. I want to know, who is this Michael Myers? I've always heard people mention in scary movies and shit. Who is this guy? What's his motive? What drives him? And I made myself stop reading the Wikipedia page about it because I didn't want to give anything away. I was like, I want to watch this like I'm a first-time watcher. I want to see it. Who is he? What's he do? What drives him? Why is he the way he is? What ends up happening to him? Da-da-da. Obviously, he comes back to life because there's sequels and so on and so forth. But, again, fast-moving movie. Tells a decent, not the greatest, story ever like The Changeling, but then again, that's a pretty high bar. So I'm going to go with an 8.5 on it. I really enjoyed it.
And who was your favorite character and your least favorite character?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I like Laurie, and I like Michael Myers. I mean, liking him in terms of, again, literary critic, writer as a heel. Michael Myers is damn good. It's a scary heel. He's not a heel that makes you hate him for his personality. He's a heel by virtue of what he does to people. So, and Laurie is just a likable chick, cool chick, and Loomis is just He's intrigued more than anything else. He's kind of assholeish at first because you don't know anything about this Michael Myers. Oh, I hope he never gets out of it. And you think, oh, okay, well, this guy's this rich doctor, arrogant asshole, keeping someone locked up forever, ruining their life. But then you gotta see he's got a point later on. He's a very intriguing person. Not Mr. Nice, lovey-dovey, but not an total asshole either. Very charismatic. So, least favorite character, honestly, probably would be, Annie, just because I don't like her as a person. She's irresponsible. She's a babysitter, but then she's getting paid for babysitting, but then she dumps off her kid with her friends so she can go bang some dude and leave the house. I mean, I don't like Annie, and Linda's is kind of your ditzy, cool, popular cheerleader type.
All right, dude. So for me, it's kind of a boring movie, dude. It's a boring movie. If you're by yourself and it's completely quiet, you're not really, into horror movies, it'll probably give you a little chills, because it's a slow build, but too slow for me. The only interesting character for me, like I've already said it enough, is Dr. Loomis. That he's the only one that keeps me interested in the film, and every time he's in the film, I'm interested, and then when he's out of the film, you just feel like I can't relate to these teenage chicks that are just talking about absolutely nothing, talking about boys, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, and they're not interesting. So I mean, of course, the least interesting to me is like Linda, because she's like totally all that bullshit the whole time. For me, I have to, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Can I watch this? Will I watch it a lot, or it's an average horror movie film. It's not bad, and it's not great. It's not good. It's just there for me. So like I'm gonna go ahead and give it like a 5.5, dude. It's not just mediocre, but it's a little bit better than that because it's got Loomis. So I'm gonna say like a 5.5 out of 10, dude. It's not something I'm gonna be putting on and and have a good time. It's just it's there. It's there if you're really in the horror movie mood and you want to watch the whole. Like you said, not the forefathers, but the grandfather or whatever. Then okay, it's something you should watch, but it's not gonna. It's no Freddy Krueger, dude. It's no, the Changeling. So 5.5 for me. But Mark, go ahead and lay the smack down, dude.
Oh my God. So Halloween, dude. For me, I'm gonna have to go. Probably 3, and only because, dude. Only because you're asking who's your favorite character and who's your least favorite character. Well, fuck, I didn't know there was more than one character, dude, on the thing. The only one I paid attention to is Loomis, dude.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Even Michael Myers is pretty bland. How many times can that motherfucker be in the bushes, dude? How many times can he just be, squatting down or around the corner and nobody else sees a, 6'4" fucking lunatic in a mask, dude? I mean, it just... If it wasn't for Loomis, it wouldn't be a 3. It'd be a straight up 1, dude.
Yeah.
But so I mean, not impressed with the movie. I don't go out of my way to say. The only reason I watch a few parts of it when it does come out is just because I'm used to watching the fucking movie, dude. It makes me remember, being a little boy, dude.
So you said a 3 out of 10?
Yeah, 3 out of 10, dude. I'm not gonna oversell it like Dr. Loomis trying to oversell Michael Myers, dude.
That's funny.
The CrossFitter Michael Myers, dude, that can just blow through everybody, dude. Just keep going, dude.
He is, yeah. It's funny you say that. I was gonna give it a 4 at first, but I'm like, no, it's better than a 4 because it's better than some of the horror movies I've seen, but it's not much better. So yeah, I have no problem with you saying a 3 because I was even thinking about giving it a 4, but 5.5, it's good for me. And yeah, that's the thing is like, what makes Michael Myers this unstoppable force? At least with Jason, they have him like he's like some zombie, not at first or whatever, but he's some zombie. He's this killing machine. Freddy, he's in dreams, but Michael Myers, he's just a crazy maniac that, yeah, like you said, he's just got these powers that no one's gonna see him, and he's gonna get stabbed and fall off and get shot, and he's fine though, dude. Like I just, he doesn't do any working, he doesn't do any selling, he just comes out of nowhere and stabs you. Not very interesting or intriguing or anything like that, dude. So it's just one of those movies that I can just bypass, dude. No big deal, Chris,
he's hopped up on fish fillets, dude.
And I think and I think too. I mean, my perspective on it is going to be different than y'all's because y'all grew up with this shit. Like I didn't. So I mean, this is kind of like all these horror movies are ever, with the exception of Child's Play 1 through 3. I didn't see growing up, and so like this, for me being new to this, it's like wow, this is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Same with Friday the 13th had me. I was like following it. I was like, okay, it's like because I'm watching it from two standpoints. I'm watching it from the literary criticism standpoint, and I'm watching it from the standpoint of I want to see what happens. I want to see what this builds into. I want to see where this goes, and that's why like I'm waiting to see the sequel of this, and I'm waiting to see the sequel of Friday the 13th, and I'm waiting to see part 3 of Nightmare on Elm Street because like I want to see where they go with this.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, with the Halloween franchise, it's probably my least favorite franchise out of the big three, out of Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. For me, all the Nightmare on Elm Street, even the shitty ones towards the end, they're watchable and you still have fun with them. The Jasons, they actually get a little bit better. Like 3, I think it's pretty good. 4 is good, and then after that, they're all about the same. They're all just kind of over the top. Jason just killing. It's like the same problem. You're not going to remember any of the characters' name because no one really matters. It's just Jason is slaughtering everyone. So, that's that. And then the same thing with the Michael Myers films. It's like part 3, it's not even with him, so that's a good film, right off the bat. But the other ones, it's it's kind of like the same shit that, everyone knows he's coming for him on the other ones, but no one can stop him, dude. He just shows up out of nowhere. So it's, as my good friend Ray the Clay would say, he goes, eh. So I would love to hear your opinion of them once we get to them. But yeah, we'll be doing some of those sequels in the future. But now that we've gotten done with this is our 10th review, dude. How does it feel to do 10, horror movie films, Chris?
Pretty good, man. I gotta say it's cool to learn about something that like maybe isn't your thing, and just something you didn't really grow up with, something you're not familiar with, and just kind of learn new things, It's a cool thing. So I'm glad we've done it. I think we still got Hellraiser to do, but I wanted to say one more thing about Halloween. It just this hit me after I finished watching the whole movie. It's amazing. Like as again, as I mentioned before, we're wrestling fans, and a lot of our listeners on this are wrestling fans as well. You think about like October '97 all the way to maybe early '99 Kane, and like that like the Michael Myers character is so similar to the Kane WWF character in the early years of Kane, not before they fucked him up and ruined it and all that shit. But like the first 2 years, like the fact that he's wearing a mask, and it's the fact the mask has fake hair on it, and the fact that he moves so kind of like stoically, emotionally, yet he has strength and he's impervious to pain, and he can do the Undertaker sit-up and all that stuff, just like he did in that toward the last scene. Like it's just the Kane character of Michael Myers, and I wonder if someone like a Bruce Pritchard or whoever the fuck it was said, "Hey, we can mold this to be similar to Michael Myers."
Probably, dude. But Kane's a lot more over than Michael Myers ever was, dude. That's for sure. Especially when he first came out, dude. When he first came out, dude, I took that as a threat, dude. So, and he's from hell. That's why he's impervious to pain. So, he was, burnt. He was burnt to a crisp, apparently, dude. But his arms are fine. So.
And now he's the mayor. Now he regained his vocal cords and his ability to talk without having to use that electric device. And now he's the mayor of Knoxville.
Knoxville, Tennessee. Oh, by the way, I got that ticket resolved. They were like, oh, we don't know what happened. But someone fucked up, dude, at Enterprise. So fuck you, Enterprise. Kiss my ass, dude.
Yeah, somebody fucked up. Yeah, that for sure.
So,
somebody fucked. It'll come out eventually.
So you're gonna be a Hertz guy or an Avis guy from now on?
I just don't rent cars, dude. I don't got that kind of money, just to be, putting out money to rent a vehicle. I have to own it, dude. I have to own it. I don't lease, Well, I'm leasing now, but still, it's not the point. So, Chris, you mentioned Hellraiser, dude, and that's Mark's favorite horror movie, right, Mark?
Oh, man, my fucking absolute favorite. Man, I can't get enough of that motherfucker, dude.
So the reason...
That is great, dude.
The reason for the first 10, Hellraiser was going to be a part of it, but Mark was, fighting me, tooth and nail, because, so we just did Freddy 2 instead, just, because it was going to be like all the main stuff from the 70s and 80s. That's why we did The Omen, The Evil Dead, all that stuff. But Mark, what was your problem with Hellraiser? I remember what you said, but I want you to tell the folks why you don't like Hellraiser, dude.
What did I tell you last time?
You're like, it's not even a horror movie, it's a love story.
Yeah, it's a love story, dude. I mean, it's like a homophobic. It's a gay fucking love story, dude. That's all that's going on there, dude. Which I don't give a fuck if you're, you're gay, but what I want to see, a bunch of Rob Halford guys walking around, dude. Rob Halford guys walking around trying to scare people, dude. It's a love story, dude. I'm not interested in that.
And
I want to watch my horror. I want to get scared, dude. I don't want to get slightly turned on, dude. You know what I'm saying?
And it's funny because the director and writer is Clive Barker, and Clive Barker is gay, dude. So, I mean, what you say makes perfect sense.
Oh, I told you. See what I'm saying, dude?
And you don't even know that. You don't even know that, right? Because you don't.
No, I don't even know who the fuck Clive Barker is, dude.
Yeah. When
I remember
that piece of shit.
you and Jason on that July podcast last year. Y'all brought him up, and I'd never heard of him, and so I remember that name.
Yeah, he's gay, dude, and it's funny that Mark had said all that, and I'm like, well, yeah, Barker he's a homo, dude. So I thought it was pretty funny that because I know he's not wise to the work, he's just watching it and gives you his opinion. He's not gonna Google and do all his research about the director and all this other shit, So it's my job to to prove him right or wrong, dude. And he's usually right, dude, about this shit. He's a bunch of Halfords and shit, so. Yeah, so we're gonna do Hellraiser, and the great thing about it is that this is someone's favorite movie, right? When we do Hellraiser next time, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's the greatest horror movie film," and you're just gonna have Mark just shit all over it, dude, giving it to him straight. Hey, dude, no pun intended, but hey, dude, this movie's a piece of shit because this, that, and whatever, dude. So we'll do Hellraiser next, and then probably Nightmare on Elm Street 3 after that, dude. So are y'all excited?
Yeah.
Are y'all excited? Is anyone squirting right now?
I'm about to.
You got 18 minutes.
Hey,
I'm about to too.
Hey, question. Didn't you tell me a long time ago, Jason, our podcast pal Jason, isn't a big fan of Michael Myers at all?
He actually is a big fan of the shitty ones. Like he likes which one was it? The Curse of Michael Myers. Like it's part 6. Jason's opinions are everywhere, so it's hard to keep track of them. But I think he's like, I actually think it's one of the better ones, and I think they all suck after the first one. It's not that good, but that's the better of the whole franchise. And the third one I like a lot, dude, because it has nothing to do with Michael Myers. So it's just one of those cheesy 80 horror movies that I think y'all are dig.
Well, hey, I got another question on that, on the Michael Myers vein. Not to get, I know we're trying to kind of wrap this up, but I wanted to know when does he stop being a masked serial killer that can seem to weather the storms of bullets and stabbings and other things? When does he decide to start doing that public access show from his parents' basement with his blonde-haired friend?
For those of you that don't know, he's talking about Wayne's World with Mike Myers. So, yeah, no, it never happens, dude. That's a completely different Michael Myers. That's Mike Myers, dude.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So, hey, Mark, you want to give any shout-outs, dude, before we go?
I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. I got attacked earlier today, so I don't know.
Chris?
What's up, Ray?